1.4 billion. That's how much this country spends on Captain Power energy bars and their kin every year. Heck, if you look around, it seems like every briefcase, gym bag, purse, and backpack has become home to these edible tribbles. And why not? I mean, they possess the convenience of a candy bar, and although they often contain just as much sugar and fat as your favorite candy bar, they sometimes manage to pack in some pretty high-end nutrition. Sometimes they don't even taste like sawdust. But still, they're all a little too mysterious for my liking. They're also willing to be helpful. They want to help us play more, lift more, work more, run more, and somehow mysteriously, I don't know, lose weight more, but at a price. They are very expensive. The answer? Make your own. Heck, with a little nutritional know-how and the right ingredients, we can beat old Captain Power at his very own game. And not only create energy bars that are good for you, but are seriously Although energy bars might appear to be modern marvels, mankind has been seeking out compact nutrition sources for centuries. For instance, back in the Middle Ages, no well-equipped crusader left the castle without a dense fruitcake called panforte, packed with honey, grains, nuts, and dried fruit. Panforte was the most calorie-laden food of its day, and it delivered vitamins, minerals, and energy, and enough fiber to keep the most noble knight a regular guy. Then there was pemmican. The Cree Indians taught early American frontiersmen like Alexander Mackenzie how to pound dried deer and buffalo meat with fat, bone marrow, and dried berries, and then to sew up the whole thing in a rawhide sack sealed with tallow. Sounds pretty gross, but the resulting bar, called pemmican after the Cree word for fat, gave Mackenzie the strength to become the first European to cross the North American continent from coast to coast back in 1793. Pretty impressive. Hundreds of bars designed to deliver quick energy were unleashed on the public. These candy bars were indeed loaded with calories, but no one really thought to add, good nutrition until 1975 when Nestle's hired an inventor to concoct a healthy, easy-to-carry, tasty bar for the me generation. The result? The granola bar. Want to make one? Okay, we'll get to that. First, let's take a moment to consider a few nutritional matters. The universe of energy bars is often classified according to the percentages of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins that they contain. Ever wonder what these things do? Well, carbohydrates include sugars and starches from the plant world. Simple sugars are made up of either one or two molecules, and once ingested, they move quickly into the bloodstream, where they are literally burned up in the power plant of your metabolism. Now, this is very, very good news if you are running a marathon, chopping wood, or lifting weights. If, however, you are simply lifting the remote control, this isn't so good. That's because when excess glucose doesn't get used up by your body, your pancreas sends out insulin to neutralize it. That means in a couple of hours, you're going to have a glucose deficiency, which your body is going to counter with the hormone adrenaline. And adrenaline is just going to make you feel nasty, cranky, and muddy-headed. What's more, excess carbs easily convert to fat. In case of starvation, would you cut it out? Speaking of fats, they are extremely efficient when it comes to storing energy. A whopping 9 calories per gram, in fact, which means if my calculations are correct, I have the same potential energy as a small thermonuclear device. But luckily, fats do serve a purpose other than just keeping me from seeing my shoes. Without fats, your body cannot utilize fat-soluble vitamins like vitamins A, D, E, or K, nor can it maintain healthy organs or cell membranes. Fats also supply fuel for your muscles when no carbs are available. Oh, and here's another crucial fat fact. Fats are composed of fatty acids, some of which are required for human life, which is why they're called essential fatty acids. So if you're fat, don't blame fats, because they're good. With the exception of fat, water, and the minerals that make up your skeleton, most of the body is made from protein. 3/4 of your dry weight, in fact, is muscle, nails, hair, skin, stuff that has to be renewed and renovated every now and then, lest you simply fall apart. Now, proteins are made out of tiny building blocks called amino acids. 20 different amino acids are required by the body for human life. Now, a healthy body can manufacture 11 of these, but the remaining 9 have to be imported from the outside world, or the whole system falls apart. Now, the challenge is in finding protein sources that provide all 9 of these essential amino acids. Decidedly old school, granola bars still deliver a satisfying crunch combined with a considerable nutritional punch that stems mostly from this tasty payload. 8 ounces, it's approximately 2 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats. Now, when it comes to eating oatmeal, I'm not a huge fan of rolled oats, but when it comes to making granola products, they're the only way to go. Here we have 1.5 ounces of raw sunflower seeds, 3 ounces of sliced almonds, and 1.5 ounces of wheat germ, all measured by weight, of course. Now, a word about wheat germ. You've got to remember that it is the actual embryo of the kernel, and like an egg yolk, it contains most of the fat and vitamins that the kernel has to offer. Since most of the fats inside of it are unsaturated, this stuff will go rancid if it's left out at room temperature, so always keep it tightly sealed and in your chill chest at all times. There. Although they are loaded with complex carbohydrates and proteins, vitamins and minerals and whatnot, these nuts and grains aren't exactly packed with flavor yet. Just as a plain piece of white bread becomes something completely different when toasted, 15 minutes at 350 degrees will change everything. Just make sure that you stir them about every 5 minutes. And after this point, of course, you might want to use a spoon or spatula. While our nuts and grains combo gently toasts, we will prepare the binder. Place a medium saucepan over medium heat and add 6 ounces of honey, 1 3/4 ounces dark brown sugar, 1 ounce of unsalted butter, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. Just stir that until the sugar has completely dissolved. Then add your freshly toasted oat mixture, and just to up the soluble fiber, not to mention the flavor, add 6.5 ounces of chopped dry fruit mix. Apricots, cherries, cranberries, blueberries, the choice is yours. When the mixture is completely mixed and no more liquid seems apparent, move that into a well-oiled 9x9 baking dish. Then oil the bottom of another baking dish or pan and use that to tamp down the top of the granola so that it's nice and even. There. Park in the middle of your 300-degree oven for 25 minutes. Stored thusly, these will keep for 2 to 3 weeks in your cupboard. Now, let us take just a few moments to consider nutritional information on this device. I think you're going to be surprised that this nice big block only contains 193 kilocalories. A kilocalorie is what you and I usually call a calorie, only a little bit more precise. We've got 30.52 grams of carbohydrates, 4.5 grams of protein, 6.8 grams of fat, 3.66 grams of fiber, and only 61.28 milligrams of sodium. That means that this little bar is as good, if not better, than most of the commercial granola bars on the market. And as far as sodium goes, well, let's just put it this way. This thing's got 160 milligrams. That's just too high. Best of all, this thing cost about, 5 cents to make. You do the math.
One of the most popular new bar categories is the protein bar, favored by bodybuilders looking to add some muscle tissue and followers of the low-carb cult, whose bodies have been tricked into burning fats and proteins as major energy sources rather than carbohydrates. Most manufacturers seem to be having a tough time making high-protein bars taste like anything other than, I don't know, potting soil. Although I do have to admit that the Captain Power Protein Puck Pack doesn't taste too bad. Of course, there are a few ingredients on here that I'm not that familiar with. Maybe it's time to consult with an expert in such matters.
Well, look at the cat, Druggy.
Hello, Coco.
To what do I owe the honor? Do tell. How nice. You brought Carl a goodie. A Captain Power Protein Puck, no less.
You know, Carl, I never would have figured you for health food.
Healthy. Maybe for the captain's bank account.
What do you mean?
No. That won't do. Quid pro quo, my dear A.B.
All right, quid pro quo the rapper.
Yes. A few of my favorite things. High fructose corn syrup. Oh, lots and lots of sodium. And, lovely, luscious palm kernel oil.
What's the big deal with palm oil?
It's the only fully saturated fat that stays liquid at room temperature.
That means that products that contain it can remain moist and unctuous, but still have the shelf life of uranium.
Nice. It can learn.
You know, saturated fats are bad for you.
Only if you eat them.
Well, at least this one's packed full of protein.
Oh, that's because it's been hydrolyzed.
What do you mean?
Extracted from cow hooves and skins.
I guess that's your way of saying it's low quality then.
Like eating glue, only tastier. Oh, Captain, you're a bad boy. Yes, you are. You're a bad...
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to enjoy my cigarettes in private.
Now here is a 4-ounce power bar that's got all the protein you need. All of the essential amino acids are there. Total 28.65 grams of protein, in fact. But it's also got 365 calories, almost 27 grams of fat, 10 of which are saturated. Not so healthy. There is, however, a way to get the complete protein we need into a convenient and tasty package without all the calories or all the fat. Soybeans, or more exactly, soybean protein powder, which is indeed a complete protein. Now, we will build our bar using the muffin method, only without any leavening. Step 1. Set your oven to 350 degrees. Then combine 4 ounces of soy protein powder, 2 1/4 ounces of oat bran, 2 3/4 ounces of wheat flour, and 3/4 of an ounce of wheat germ, along with half a teaspoon of salt. Combine well. Then chop up 3 ounces each raisins and dried blueberries and 2 1/2 ounces each of cherries and apricots. In another bowl, combine 1 12.3 ounce block of silken tofu, 4 ounces of dark brown sugar, 2 large eggs, half a cup of unfiltered apple juice, and 2/3 of a cup of natural peanut butter. If you're allergic to peanuts, either almond butter or cashew butter could be used here. Time to pour the wet and gooey onto the dry and dusty. And since there's not much in the way of gluten here, you can just mix that all you want. Just don't forget to stir in your fruit at the end. Since stirring can actually be a little tough, I like using my hands. The glove's optional. Finally, add this to a 9 by 13 inch baking dish that has been lined with oiled parchment paper, and just kind of push the batter in. You might want to oil that glove too. Park this in the middle, of a 350-degree oven until the internal temperature hits 205 degrees, and that's going to take about 35 minutes.
Once they're completely cool, turn them out, and odds are good the parchment will come off and stay in the pan. Now, you could cut these with a sharp, narrow knife, but there's a good bit of drag because of the density, so I like a pizza cutter. There we go. They'll keep in the refrigerator for, I'd say, a week, but they freeze very, very well if properly wrapped, up to 3 months. Now, these bars are dense, they are cakey, and they are delicious. And I'm pleased to say that they are darned good for you. Just look at these numbers. We've got 154.01 kilocalories or calories. We've got 21.08 grams of carbohydrates, 8.41 grams of protein, 4.79 grams of fat, 2.14 grams of fiber, a measly 91.92 milligrams of sodium, and 17.7 milligrams of cholesterol. I dare you, no, I double dog dare you, to find a protein bar in any market, anywhere that can beat this one. Certainly not for flavor. You're just not going to find it. No, not for texture either. You know what those are? Sure you do. They are icons of the snack world, and you want one bad, don't you? The problem is they've got all the nutritive value of actually, packing chips might have a little bit more fiber, but of course these do have some sugar. Luckily, we can rebuild them, remake them from scratch, so that not only will they be good, they'll be good for you. Oh, I don't need that. First thing is we'll replace the regular puffed rice with 3 ounces or 6 cups of puffed brown rice, which contains rice bran oil, which is very effective at controlling cholesterol. Now, we're still going to use 7 ounces of marshmallows, but hey, they taste great, and after all, they are fat-free. We will counter that with some extra nutrition, say 3 ounces of toasted slivered almonds, 1.5 ounces each of dried cranberries and dried cherries, which of course we will chop, and last but not least, 1 ounce of blueberries. We don't need to chop those. Now, 7 ounces of marshmallows won't provide much sweetness, so we will augment them with 1 tablespoon of honey. Thank you, Thing. I like orange blossom honey, but you can use whatever you like. The reason I like honey is that it is very, very hygroscopic. It's not just sweet, it's water-loving, and that means that using it in these treats will keep them moister and chewier longer. And chewy is a good thing. Now, treats like this usually call for a lot of butter. We don't want that, so we are going to use a different oil altogether. Flaxseed oil, 3 tablespoons of it. Since this stuff is mostly unsaturated, you're going to want to keep it in the chill chest at all times. Bring a large cauldron of water to a bare simmer and place over it your largest metal mixing bowl. Add to this your honey, your flaxseed oil, and last but not least, of course, your mini marshmallows. Now, one of the reasons that I like mini marshmallows so much is that they're so gosh darn good at a cup of cocoa. But I also like them because they're small and therefore melt quickly. This will take about 4 or 5 minutes just to work this into something resembling marshmallow fluff. In the meantime, let us talk about flaxseed oil. This is a flaxseed. This is a flaxseed. Inside this magic seed is a magic oil, and inside the magic oil, a magic substance, an essential fatty acid, in fact, called alpha-linolenic acid, which just so happens to be an omega-3 fatty acid. What's an omega-3 fatty acid? Fetch down a 9 by 13 inch baking pan, metal would be best, and give it a good lubing with vegetable or canola oil. Make sure you go all the way up the sides. When the marshmallow goo is melted, turn off the heat, but don't remove the bowl. Pour in the puffed rice, the nuts and berries, and all the other little bits and pieces, and be ready to do some serious stirring. If you take the pan off the hot water, I promise this will become a real problem. Now, when it all turns into an untenable mess, move it off and dump it into your pan. But before you do that, you're probably going to want to lube up your hands, because they are just about the only tools you've got in your kitchen capable of doing what needs to be done, which is to pack this brick-like substance into the corners of the pan. Now, I know some of you probably don't like the feel of oil on your hands, but the alternative is club hand. We don't want that. Once the mixture is in, let it cool thoroughly and then turn it out and cut into blocks. Gracious, would you just look at that nutritional information? We've got just over 93 calories or kilocalories per serving per each delicious puffed rice delight. Just over 15 grams of carbohydrates, 1.16 grams of protein, 3.72 grams of fat, 1.01 grams of fiber, and only 4.31 milligrams of sodium. And it tastes good too. It's like an entire grocery store in your mouth. Well, a good way. Darn tasty. Well, that's a little more like it. The mambo of modern life can take a lot out of a person. Putting the right stuff back can indeed be a challenge. But the way I figure it, even if I fall down on the nutritional job from time to time, as long as I've got one of these power-packed snacks on my side, odds are good I won't fall on my face. And if I do, I'll get up running. So I hope that you will set down those high-priced, factory-born bars you become addicted to and give your own brand a try. I'm betting that you will find a whole new source of good eats. See you around, Captain Power.